Music comes from the musician and is sent to the mastering studio. This is the first step in the production of vinyl records.
We receive the music from the musicians, and we're going to put it in the player, and we're going to proceed to play and actually measure the volume level on the VU meters. We also can receive tapes not only in digital form, but also in analog form, in the form of an actual analog tape, which you see here is a tape machine. And we are actually starting the record. And what you see here are the grooves being actually cut into the vinyl disc. Remember, each groove is like a fingerprint. No two are identical, and a groove can be up to a half a mile long or approximately 7 football fields in length. And now we finished cutting the master, and this is the complete one. This will be sent to the manufacturing plant, and it will be the master that will be used to replicate all of the vinyl records from. While we're cutting, there's actually the grooves is actually cut into it, and what you see here is the actual chip that is removed as we cut all of the grooves into the record.
If you want to look under the scope, you can see where the groove gets really thin and then it kind of fattens up.
What you see here are the grooves of the record. The needle of your turntable follows those grooves and turns those grooves into the music that comes out of your speakers.
Now that we have finished the master, we're going to remove it from the turntable and the cutting machine, and it goes into the actual shipping box, and this goes to the actual pressing plant where they make the metal parts.
After the mastering process, the master vinyl record goes to plating. Here, a stamper is created that will stamp out each record in the press.
We receive the lacquers. You got to be careful with them; they're very soft. And what I'm going to do is process it here. Just place it on the turntable, roll it down, we sand down to just below the lockout line. And you can see where it's been sanded. Now it's ready for the plating process.
After the lacquer is sanded, it is placed in several solutions. After each solution, the lacquer is rinsed. From the lacquer, a mother, a master, and a stamper is created. The stamper is the actual metal part that goes into the press and is used to stamp out each record. Therefore, it needs to be very strong. Here you see the spraying tank spraying silver onto the actual lacquer. The lacquer needs a silver coat so that later it can be plated with nickel. With both these metals adhered to the lacquer, it becomes very strong, and the other metal parts are created from this one lacquer. After the lacquer has been coated with silver, it is placed into a plating tank that bonds nickel to the silver lacquer through chemistry and electricity. The lacquer is the cathode, which is the negative. The nickel in the tank is the positive. The current flows from positive to negative. The current will go through the nickel in those baskets, and the electrodes will break it down into an ion and transfer the nickel metal onto the silver lacquer. This is how the lacquer becomes coated and ready to become a stamper in the press.
These will show that set there before they'll dry a little before we do this. And if you want to come over here, you probably get a really good look at what's going to happen. And this is the master.
This is the part where the stamper gets trimmed so it fits nicely in the press. After the stamper is trimmed, it is then sanded on its backside so that it operates correctly in the press. Here you see the stamper being coined. It is coined in the center and on the outer edge with a small lip. This lip ensures that the stamper stays in place in the press and presses each record correctly.
This is the last step in the operation. Now we'll send it across the way to start making records.
The next step in the process of making vinyl records is printing the labels. This machine is printing the round labels that will go in the center of each record on each side. After the labels are printed, they are carefully put into a machine and cut for the first time. After they are cut by this machine, they are put into another machine that cuts them into the round shapes that you see at the top of the screen. Those are the labels that go in the center of the records. After the labels are cut, they are placed in a very hot oven. During this time, all the moisture from the ink is dried out. After this, the labels are loaded onto the press and ready to be put in the center of each record. The press begins with little tiny pieces of vinyl. They are melted together to create a hockey puck shape. Each hockey puck gets two labels, one for each side, side A and side B. The press presses the labels into the hot vinyl hockey puck. Then, the hockey puck becomes a pancake. It gets put into the press even further. On either side of the pancake is a stamper. The stampers contain the grooves, which is what the needle of your turntable follows. The result is one of the longest running formats of American music, the vinyl record. After it is pressed, it is trimmed like a can opener. The excess vinyl gets recycled and reused to make new records. Then the record comes off and is put on a spindle. From the spindle, it is taken to the inspection site, where each record is inspected for any dust or imperfections. While the records are being pressed, stickers are being printed. These stickers give any special information about the record. They are used to put onto the record after it is shrink wrapped, or onto a plastic sleeve that accompanies the record. After the records are pressed, they are checked for blemishes and any scratches. They are then inserted into the sleeve. After they are inserted into the sleeve, they are then put into the jacket. The jacket holds the most information about each record. Jackets can be colorful, full of artful design, or photography. The jackets, to me, are the most interesting part of the record, besides the actual music. After the jackets are all put into stacks, they are taken to the warehouse to be shrink wrapped. After the records are shrink wrapped, stickers are placed on the outside packaging. In this case, this record does not require a special sticker. After the records have been shrink-wrapped, stickered, counted, and put into boxes, the boxes are stacked and ready to go on a pallet. From the pallet, they are wrapped and ready to go onto the truck. From the truck, they are shipped to record stores and record labels all over America and internationally. Vinyl records are a very important part of American music history, so do your part and listen to music the good old-fashioned way, on vinyl.